Okay, our next speaker is Peter from India.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम पीटर है। मैं एक वेस्टर्नी हूँ। माय नेम इज पीटर। आई एम एन एडिक्ट। I am a member of the foundation group of Narcotics Anonymous, Mahim, Bombay, India. And by trying to follow a simple program of Narcotics Anonymous, the 12 steps, I am clean today. I am extremely grateful to my higher power, to all of you here, and to this host committee for giving me the most wonderful days of my life. I have never been able to express the joy that I have experienced when I found people so loving and concerned about me. Here I have found the love that I have never found in my life any time. When I received the message that I have to speak at a convention, I asked many of my friends, what should I share? What is the sharing I have to do? And my sponsor told me that you go there and just tell your story. That is all that you have to do. The first drug of my choice was alcohol. I started drinking quite early in life. Around at the age of 13 or 14, I used to look forward to those occasions like Christmas, New Year, where I had a chance to drink. Mind you, this is the time when there was total prohibition in Bombay. And I used to look forward to these days when I had a chance that I could go and drink. And one thing I used to find at myself, that on every occasion I used to find that I wanted more and more, and I would invariably get drunk. So this time, at the age of 18, I got a job in the railways, the railroad, as an apprentice. And this time now I thought that now I had the right to drink. There was nothing that could halt me now. And it was at this time that I started drinking daily. My drink intake started daily. Very soon it increased. The quantity increased, the timing increased. And within a period of 5 years, before I could complete my apprenticeship, I had already become a full-fledged alcoholic, in the sense that I needed a drink every day. At that time, I got in touch or got friendly with a girl who was the daughter of the distiller, and it struck in my mind and I thought that the best thing is to get married to her. Today, friends, she is my wife. I have been married to her for 33 years. See, to cut a long story short, my drinking started increasing after I got married, and it went so bad that I could not go to work, I could not do anything except to drink, and finally I had come to such a stage that I was virtually begging for my drinks. At this time, two friends had come close to me. Usually I used to find that whenever somebody was passing across the road, they would go along the other side. But this time these two came to me and they told me, "Come on, Peter, we'll show you a new joint." I jumped at that idea and went with them, and they took me to my first AA meeting. That was the first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that I attended. And it was here, for the first time, I seen people who were like me, who were able to stop drinking. My stage had reached such that I thought that I would never be able to do anything about my drinking. And here, for the first time in my life, I seen people who were like me, who were able to stop drinking. So I stuck along with them, and I attended their meetings regularly. Two important things I learned in those meetings was, one, that in this world there are some people who cannot drink, in the sense that they have an allergy for alcohol, and every time a drink goes down their system, they find that they have to have more and more and more. This I could identify definitely with them, because that was what was happening to me. And the second thing that I learned was that I could stop just for one day, that is one day at a time. And with these two ideas, that the first drink does the damage and not to drink today, I was able to stop drinking. I stopped drinking. And this happened that I thought that now I have achieved everything, that I was able to do what I just could not do during my whole life that time. So what happened after that was, after this thing, now after a few days I found, not a few days, I was able to stay for a few months as such, that nobody showed me how to live. That was the thing. Nobody showed me how to live. They showed me how to stop drinking. But I just couldn't live now. They had taken away the crutches and I was unable to walk. That was the state I was in. And I found that now what am I to do? There was so much of creditors, so much of pain, so much of problems which I had created, that without things like that I could not do anything. And that was the time I found the magic substance, what was hashish. And now I thought that I had learned to conquer this whole problem, that I knew that if I had one drink, I would go back to the gutters from where I had come from. I did not want to do that, so I could keep away from the first drink, but now I took the substitute, that was hash. And this initially was okay, but very soon I found that my intake increased, my consuming time increased, and I was once again what I was when I was drinking. Except that now I was not drinking, I was smoking my alcohol. This continued trends, and things started getting worse. Worse in the sense that I was totally beaten mentally, financially. In all fronts I said that I just could not do anything. I was in a real total mess, and I just could not know how and what to do. It was during this time in Bombay, the AA had a newsletter which the local fellowship was printing. And in that I read about a small article in that, wherein it was written about the love of God and how God was working miracles and how things happen. I was using that time, and during this stupor, when I read that, I took a pen and paper and wrote out, there was an address in the newsletter from whom this was written. And I made it a point to write to that person, about how fake she was, what she was telling, that what about the love of God. I was now 7 years in the AA without a drink, and I was worse than what I was when I was drinking. So this letter, somehow I found the courage to post. And after that thing, friends, that was the miracle that had happened in my life, in the sense that I started getting a lot of replies from all over the world. This insert, what was there in the newsletter, was a part of a world hello or some news that was going on of the AA. But through them I got a lot of encouragement about how they too suffered, how they too found the answer. But I did not stop. I used to read them and keep them, read them and keep them. And in that, I had received the message of Narcotics Anonymous. Although I received this message, I was not able to pick it up. I did not know, I didn't do anything about it, because I used to keep on. I tried many times to stop. I did stop. It only for a matter of 2 days, 3 days, and again I would start. I was not able to do anything about this problem. And this message was, I used to read and I keep it. I used to read and I keep it. That was all that I had started doing. During this time, one of my attempts at stopping, I had been to one of those AA meetings. And there, another thing happened, that I heard at that meeting, a member came up and spoke that I am so and so, I am an alcoholic, I am also a drug addict. I made it a point now, this is the same chap, this fellow will be able to understand me because he is like me. And I waited till the meeting was over and I went and spoke to him. Asif, I have also this problem. And we started talking together. He told me that he knew of another one person who had also stopped using, and through the charismatics, the church religious program, he had stopped to the charismatics. And he introduced me to this friend of mine. And this, for the first time, I had developed a very good friendship. This friend, what I did was to take these letters, take this news, whatever I had, this literature, and I went up to this chap and I showed him what it was. He read that and he found out that he had already practiced what these steps had meant to be without knowing them that they were the steps. He knew that he had admitted he was powerless. He believed that God alone could help him. He had decided to put his life and his problem in God's hand. He had made his confession and all other things that which he found that what the book was telling, that's what he had practiced. And he told me, this is the right thing now, Peter, we'll do it something for this. He and we started going regularly to meetings together. And I found now for the first time that I was able to stay clean without any problem by being in friendship with this friend of mine. He knew, or at least he was friendly with the church authorities, and soon he arranged for a place where we could meet with this little news and whatever little literature that we had. So we went and we started, he would go and bring some addicts and we would meet there 3 times a week. And I found that because of that, although nobody else was able to recover, I was the one who was able to stay stopped. After some time, what happened was in September of 83, the church authorities told that now, since we require this place for something else, for some other work, you better stop your meetings. And I got panicky for the first time because I knew that if these meetings were stopped, that I was not able to stay without a drink, without a smoke. I knew that I needed this meeting. And by this time I had met another priest from my parish who was able to help me. I went and contacted him, and he told me that he could allow me to meet in his church. And there, on the 8th of September 1983, for the first time in this new place, we started once again to meet. And friends, now in 1996, in this 14th of September, this same place, we will be celebrating 13 years of this group. We have organized a whole night meeting, and the theme of that is anything is possible. So friends, this meeting place started in 1983, and we started 2, 3, 4 meeting regularly at this place, new place which we had at Mayhem. There were many of us who came and went. Very few started remaining there. But finally, after some few months, there was the first success when one of them stopped using. That time, downers and uppers was the main drug that was going on. Heroin came soon in that picture, and we found that many of them were difficult to get in the whole situation. Things started changing for the better. The only thing that I found was possible that I was able to stop. I was able to remain stopped. And the change, that whole situation was in 1990, when we had in Bombay the visit of Anthony and Mario from the World Service Office to our group in Bombay. This was the first time when we found that people really found that some people are concerned about us. This was the first time we found. By the time we were about 15 or 20 of us who were already clean, and we on our own had tried to print a small pamphlet, gathering together all little information that we had, and with some of the AA literature that was mixed up, we brought out our own. This they seen for the first day when they came and visited our group. They seen for themselves what we had done. And they told us that, no, this is not the right thing, you better dispose of it. We were very disheartened because we had put in a lot of money and whatever little effort we had, and they told us, no, this you cannot use. But they did a wonderful thing, friends. They immediately sent for literature by which we were able to achieve a lot. Immediately at that time they found that both of them, I don't know how, but they were able to get us some basic texts, get us some pamphlets, and get us... So this was what has brought about the change. This was what has showed us to live. This was what has brought a new life to us. So many of us are grateful for all these things that has happened. Today alone in Bombay, we have 23 meetings a week. During that time, there was one rehabilitation center in Bombay which used to admit addicts. They came, they were allowed to come to our meetings, and through that, many of the addicts who got clean went out to their home states, and the fellowship now has spread to all over India. We have 5 areas now in Bombay functioning, though we are trying now to form one region. This has not yet been able to do. We have a lot of problems in communicating, because we find if we are to go from one area to another, it takes about 2 days by train, and we don't find it as easy as here in Americas. The next wonderful thing that this fellowship, this World Service Office was when they invited us to participate in the World Service Conference as a delegate of the Multinational Development Forum. This was in 1992. The fellowship decided to vote, and I was once again chosen to represent India and come here for the conference. I attended this conference in Dallas in 1992, and though I know that I did not contribute anything of mine towards the fellowship, towards the conference, I took back with me two wonderful things that has changed the whole picture of the fellowship in India. First was that I was told about the Hospitals and Institutions Subcommittee. Some friends here took me personally to visit a rehab and also a lockup, jail, which I had never seen before. I seen how powerful this medium is when we go and tell this to the addict who is really in need of the message there. And this in 1993, in the month of February, we had our first panel in one rehab center. Today, there are Wcna subcommittees in the other areas also, but in Bombay, we have panels in 3 different places, 3 times a week. And most of our members today, which are increasing, are through this medium by going through this Wcna panels. The second thing that at this conference that I took back was the power of hugs. Our fellowship never knew what is the hug. And when I went back after the conference, after receiving so many hugs, I went for the first time there and went back and started giving back. I showed them, and I could really feel the power when I found we could hug with each other, the difference that make by one addict hugging another addict. These two friends are the medium that have brought about this wonderful change that is today in the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous in Bombay and in India. It is really wonderful, and I really can see the hugs that I have received when I have come here, since I have come here, the time since I landed there, when I seen that board in the hand of a member who said NA, I was really at top of the world when I just came out of the plane and she hugged me, and till today I found the power and the love and the joy and the concern that these members have shown, so many of you all, that I am really, I am unable to say anything about it, that the love and the understanding that I have received here. Two months back, friends, another one thing that happened was there was a message from the World Service Office to Bombay asking me to phone back the World Service on a collect basis after 9:30 in the night. I was wondering why, since I had not been very active in the fellowship now, I was wondering why I was called back. And when I called back, I received this message that I should come here to share at this convention. I was at the top of the world. I found now is another one chance that I've been coming to America, and another chance to meet so many people. And after 2 or 3 days, it was after I received this message and I agreed to coming, something clicked in my mind, or something came in my mind that come on, Peter. Now is the time that you will be meeting many of the members who will be of your age. The problem there, what has happened, that I am the oldest there. The average age of the member is about 30 to 35. They are all younger than that. And I am the one who is with the cleanest time. So I thought that I am the one who knows everything. And when nobody listen, or anybody who does not listen to me or does not do what I am telling, I used to feel hurt about it. I said, I know that what this guy, yesterday's boy is telling me what to do. I am because most of them are quite new to the program. And I used to feel that these fellows are quite young, what they know. And another thing was that I could not share with them. I was not able to share with them many of these personal things. And that time when I received this message, it struck me that now I will get people who will be probably older than me, with more clean time than me, and with whom I can share. That is one thing that I was able to do. So that was the time when came, Peter, now it is nearly 12, 13 years since you have really followed the program. Now is the time, now you will be getting somebody who is your age, or with whom you can share, or with whom you can talk. Because I had not done the fourth step since then. Practically, really speaking, I had done nothing of that. Only I was clean. And I was thinking that I would tell others to do what I am telling them to do, not to do what I am doing. That was what... This was what I was, and I just couldn't get anybody with whom I could really share my personality. And they were becoming more and more. I could not share because I thought that nobody would understand me. Because all are quite young, what they know about what is what and what is not. And that was the time I once again took up that exercise book and pen and started writing. This came about because this chance was given that I have been invited and I will be meeting many people who will be with whom I would be able to share. This brought about this change, and I am really grateful for this invitation that had come, because once again now I started putting into practice these 12 steps of the program in my life. I admit it. I have a sponsor who is much younger than me, and now at the time when I started writing, I went and talked to him. I said, this is the scene. Then now I wish to make this once again. I told him exactly, this is the scene, what it is. And he told me, then instead of fourth, why not do the first, second and third? And I started writing out those first, second and third, and I found that so many things were there, and how much difficult it was. What are the things that I was powerless now? So many things were there. My grandiosity, my things of that all-knowing attitude. These sort of things were there which I started getting now once again in my life. When I started looking at it, I believe now that I was powerless of all them. My whole life was unmanageable. I was just putting up front. Now is the time I really bent down and asked God that you help me now. What am I to do? That I decided now to put my life in His hands and said about it. And I started little of the fourth step, started doing that. I wrote down the fourth step over there. And it came to my mind, now come Peter, whatever it is, this fellow is young or he understands you, he's your sponsor, do that thing. And we had a talk with him. We had a deep talk where I found that I was able to unload whatever things that I wanted to. I spoke to him, I had a good talk with him. And I started really, friends, a change came about me than what I was just 2 months ago. I made this fifth step with him. I admitted my defects, I admitted my wrongs. I really came to see what, since the time I had made my last fifth step. My last fifth step was with a priest which I had some years ago. That was in about 12 to 13 years ago. And this now brought about once again the little joy, the little peace which I was just missing from there. I knew now I had to make amends, especially to two institutions, two persons. One was my wife, who suffered the most, all during my using and also during my clean time also, because I was just unable to understand her. And the second was the place of work where I was, because of the harm that I had done by my pilfering and other things what I had done during my whole using. These two were the main things which I had to make amends to. And I decided now that I had to show extra love to my wife, to find that to repay all the harm or what the trouble I had given her. And at the workshop where I work, I made it a point now to work a little extra, more than what I really need to repay back, because I know that I will never be able to repay what I have, with the harm that I've caused the railway workshop by my robbing, by my stealing, and by my not working as to what I should work. These are the things that I have found that I've been able to change within these 2 months, or make a lot of difference in my life now. And the 10th, 11th step I usually used to practice, but today the practice is a little different, in the sense that I really am able to be in closer contact with my higher power, to thank him for all that he has done for me. And lastly, I would share, friends, a small Indian tale, or it is not a story as such, but it is what has been practiced in the villages of India, where you find that they have a person is appointed by the village panchayat just to go about in the night from dusk to dawn with a bell in his hand and a staff, and he goes about shouting out just these two words, jagte raho, which means keep awake, keep awake. This person just goes about the village around from night till morning doing this thing, keep awake, keep awake. And you find that although he goes about, the villagers, people sleeping, listen to him, but nobody keeps awake. They are all asleep. This is what happens. So I too have decided in the same way that though people may not keep awake, yes or no, but I myself am going to do this shouting, so that I find that at least I myself will be able to keep awake. This is what I have decided as friends. So once again, friends, I would end my sharing by thanking each one of you who have given me the most wonderful days of my life here, these 3 days which I am here, that I can never forget. I will be never forgetting these days, the love, the concern, the hugs that I have received here, which I really can feel today, that there are people who really care for people who are lost, who find that they are there. There were so many in the fellowship here who have contributed to this occasion where I am here standing. I thank the host committee who has made this effort of bringing me here, seeing that I am well placed here, looking after me. This, what they have done, I know that I will never be able to forget, especially this point when they brought about that I am able to practice the principle or practice the program once again in my life. This is what they have showed me how to live. Thank you, friends, for listening.